First, sixth day of the challenge of reach 20 rating in SESCOM. The sixth day was so bad. I only won 2 games and I lost 3. So, and one game that I won was because my opponent blundered a piece in the opening. But okay, the second game that I won was also fine. So let's analyze the game. I faced again a player that the previous day I played against a mini match against him of 2 games, and tomorrow I'm going to comment the match. So let's see the other video playing against this opponent. Okay, e4, c5, knight f3, e6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4. Okay, a6, that's the same opening that he played against me the other day. Bishop d3, bishop c5, knight b3, bishop e7. A part of my mini match against this player, I'm going to post another video about one of my best games ever, the day that I became a Madrid champion against this line in 2021. Queen e4, bishop f6, bishop f6, sorry. Here I go so castle. The other day my opponent plays d6, but here he decides to play bishop f6. The idea of queen g4 is just force to play g6 and then return to e2 because the queen on g4 is not making nothing. But now black have this hole in the dark square, and in general the g6 move was fine with the bishop on g7. Now here black is suffer many times because when you develop the knight, you are always going to have the problem of bishop a6 avoiding you to castle and this type of things. Apart, here I have a breakthrough square with h4, h5 if you was so that's the general idea of queen g4 provoking g6. Okay, my opponent yesterday plays d6 and this day select bishop f6. Here, okay, queen g3 was possible too. And let's see that the correct placement of the knight was on c3, not only on d2 that I put in the game. Knight c3, bishop f4, trying to reach the d6 or c7 square. Now I'm threatening bishop c2 and the queen, so the bishop he should play or e5, then bishop e3. Now I gain the d5 square for the knight, e6, h4, or knight d6, bishop d6, bishop e5. And here white is better, of course, because this bishop was so bad. Don't have all his like dark square open and the bishop in the row, in the bad square. And now I have plan with h4, h5 to attack the king. But okay, I chose castle, who is fine, e6. And here 92 was not the best placement of the pieces. Rook d1 for c4 was fine, and queen g3 was also interesting too. Knight c6, knight a3, going to go to c4, and if he plays b5 now rook d1 with the idea of c4. That's the correct placement. Okay, I chose the wrong plan, but playable too. Knight 1d2. Now my idea was f4, knight f3, c3, king h1, and then prepare a central breakthrough. And that's what no, it's not what I made because my opponent plays e5, but that's my plan when I play knight 1d2. Knight c6, f4, following my plan, knight e7, and the machine prefer to place first the queen on g4. The machine doesn't like the queen on g4 because sometimes after some e5, the queen is going to be under attack. But okay, I play knight f3, so yes, the queen is misplaced on d4. The best square was e2, or e1 sometimes, but e2 was fine here. But here, my opponent takes many tempos to castle. In the yesterday game, happened the same in the Sicilian. He should have castle so early, and instead of that, he started to play stupid move like h5, h4, losing many tempos instead of just castle fast. And in this game, my opponent made the same mistake like that yesterday. Here, so castle was the best, c3, and here the best black plan was just try to create counterplay into the queen side. a5, bishop e3, a4, knight d4, and here e5, attacking the queen and the knight. That's why the queen is bad place on g4. Knight takes e6, knight d8, and the position is equal. Instead of that, he plays knight d6, king h1, following my plan, just leaving this long diagonal. Okay, he's not threatening nothing now, but it's always useful to when you play f4 in the Sicilian, then play king h1. Was always a useful move. King h1, so castle. Here he plays e3, defending the b2 bishop, the b2 pawn to can develop the bishop to e3. And here he makes a huge mistake, playing d5, allowing to me to close the center and attack the king simply. He should have played b5, followed by b4, of course, trying to open the f6 bishop, bishop e3, b4. But here, yeah, rook a1, placing well the rook in the center, preparing for central break, so just giving up the pawn. Because I think that if he takes, I will have e5. If pawn takes bishop d6, and the queen is hanging. So queen c7 here, c takes, knight takes bishop e1, and white is slightly better here. Instead of that, he made the huge mistake of d5, allowing to me to close the center at the same time that it's not only about close the center, because always to attack in a position, okay, if you have the spatial advantage, it was useful to close the center, because normally a kingside or a queenside attack used to be countered with a central break or central counterplay, but if the center was closed, it was easier to attack in general in the position. So always have this thing, always was easier to attack with the center closed. And especially if you have a pawn on e5. A pawn on e5 is a great attacker because defend the f6 square for a possible knight. At this time, okay, it's a bishop, but used to the in f6 used to go a knight to defend. And the e5 pawn defend the knight, open this bishop, used to close this bishop too. So that's why I'm winning, especially because after d5 e5, I just open my bishop to attack and he closes bishop. Simple like that. Bishop e7, bishop e3, improving my pieces. Rook e8, improving my pieces again. And now he makes the last mistake, but okay, I'm just winning here. Bishop f8, knight g5. My idea was simple, just queen h5 and take on h7. And he cannot play g6 because there are tactics. Okay, rook f3, rook h3 doesn't matter. But okay, he make g6 clearly, and now yeah, knight f7, and he resigns here. He of course he take just have queen takes or bishop takes, taking the rook followed by f5. I like queen g6. Think here maybe I don't know. Rook a1 was winning of course, but yes, I have many winning moves. For example, f5 followed by f6 or something like that. Knight e5 f6. This could be a possibility. Amazing, just take here f5. I I just waiting for the reason he resigned here. Okay, this was a short game. Only the video is only about 8 minutes, and the game only like 18 moves. So okay, the sixth day was also bad, but okay, at least I won this very good game. If you want to see my match against my mini match against this player, let's see the video that I'm going to put us behind me, and my great victory in the same line 4 years ago in the Madrid Championship. I'm going to be back there in here. Bye bye, motherfuckers.